Hey LinkedIn, I'm here with Tim and Steve from Lithia Automotive Group. I'm going to have them talk to you today about hiring the top salespeople. So Tim, introduce yourself, and Steve, introduce yourself.
I'm Tim O'Connor. I'm the General Sales Manager at Suburban Ford of Sterling Heights. I've been here going on 16 years. This is Steve Mosesian.
Steve, I've been here for looks like about 7 years, and I spent my first years in the automotive business with Lincoln. So with Lincoln, we had a lot of different opportunities where we're training people and hiring people that had certain specifications, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. So I grew up with Tim. I've watched him come up through the ranks here. Now he's the Assistant General Manager.
GSM.
General Sales Manager. And how many cars a month do you guys do?
We average about 400 cars a month. Now we were around the 650 range prior to COVID.
Amazing. And what do you look for when you hire top sales reps that come in? Maybe they haven't sold before, and you turn them into a machine. What do you look for?
So the first thing I look for, first impressions are huge to me, right? If you're coming in, you're on time, you dress the part, and I don't necessarily need someone who's sold or knows what they're doing. You can teach skill, but you can't teach will, right? And I want someone who's ready to go, who's going to be, confident and is coachable.
Yeah. What about you, Steve?
Exactly what Tim said. Skills are something that we can always teach somebody, but when it comes to a will, that's something that's from within inside. So some of the things that we focus on is competitiveness, drive, hustle, passion, somebody that can take on their accountability for their actions, make sure that they're willing to grow based on what they're taught. And I don't know if I said this, but being self-motivated. Being self-motivated is massive, because if they have the drive to succeed, they will.
That's a common theme I hear among the best sales leaders I work with across the country. What kind of money can you make in the car business? Because I think a lot of people think slime, scumbag sales, used car sales, but it's not really that case, right? So
No.
Yeah, I mean, you got to build value in the product, right? And there is no set limit. If you want to make 20 grand a month, then you can earn 20 grand a month. If you want to make 10 grand a month, then you make 10 grand a month. It's what you put in is what you get out, right? If you show up to work and you're constantly sitting around talking, and kind of acting like this is a high school, hangout, then you're not going to make money. But if you're in your office, you're smiling and dialing every day, you're taking as many customers as you can, right? It's a law of numbers. So the more people you talk to, the more people you're going to close.
yeah.
Correct. There isn't a limit on what you can make in the business. It's the drive that you have and what your goals are. So if you're worried about what's for lunch, you're not going to do well. But if you're worried about where your next appointment is and how you're going to get that next customer, you will do well.
So same in every other industry, right? It's
Everything.
Right?
Simple
So
concept.
it's just how much do you want to make, and how much are you willing to put in, and what are you willing to do to get? If you want to make $500K, okay, go out and get it. What do you say your top salespeople make here?
North of 275.
So there we go.
Yep.
And how many years have you done that yourself?
I've been, like I said, I've been in the business 20. I've sold for the first 10 or 11, and at the end of my career in selling, I should say, I was averaging about 40 to 50 cars a month, and I've had plenty of years that were successful.
And what about you, Steve?
Mine wasn't quite that high, but coming from Lincoln, it wasn't an opportunity that we had a volume scenario where we were just going to be strictly just on selling. A good month in Lincoln is if you had 15 to 20 cars a month. Here, a good month here, you're clearing 40 plus. Right. So there's a big difference. Some of the things that we learned with Lithia being a part of the team is they have a lot of training for us to go to on a regular basis. And then the training teaches you all sorts of different aspects of selling, like the psychology of it. And that's some of the cool things that we're able to implement with our team too that helps them do really well.
Yeah. What advice would you guys give somebody that maybe hasn't even looked into selling cars and wants to make good money? Maybe they don't even have a college degree. What advice would you give them to come and start selling cars?
I would say the most common theme that I hear when I'm trying to recruit someone, whether they're a bartender, a waiter, or anybody, right? they always have this misconception that, can you really make money in the car business? It seems like it's difficult. I don't want to do commission. I like that guaranteed money. If you have that mindset of that you're not going to make commission, then you're not, right? It's all a mindset. It's all how you approach, each day. I would say forget what you have heard, right? And take the chance and get to a store. I recommend using a referral, someone that you know in the business, someone that you think that, hey, I can trust this person. And if you put in what you should do every single day and figure out, your process, I have a feeling that you will enjoy it. And we have, and I'll let you explain like our story with our new hire we had a few months ago and how he's never sold a car in his life and what happened.
With Yusuf?
Yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah. So this guy, he had it, and this is one of the things where he has the will, and the will's the drive and the passion and competitiveness. So he was relentless about getting interviewed by us. He didn't go by the proper chains of command of how we were supposed to set up, but he kept popping in here and met with Tim. Tim's like, I kind of like this guy, man. He's just getting right after it. Sat down with me, and you could see this kid's energy, the passion. He's going to sell cars. His very first month in the business, he was third ranked in the entire dealership, and he sold 27 cars.
And he made $12,000 on his first month.
Not knowing what to do. Yeah.
Never selling a car in his life.
Amazing. And as leaders, that's the kind of guy that you're going to put your energy and effort to train to get better, right?
Correct.
Correct.
So if somebody's willing to put in the work, and this is no different in any other industry that I recruited in, supply chain, logistics, SaaS, supply chain tech, it's the same thing, right? The top performers are always willing to do what the other guys are not willing to do.
Correct.
That's what separates the top people. So this is kind of why I wanted to share this story and just share, sales is sales in any industry, and you can make great money in any industry. And here's two guys, Tim and Steve, that have done it for one of the biggest automotive groups in the country. What were you guys at in the top groups in the country?
So, we just had a meeting for Value Auto, which is vehicles that are typically 80,000 miles and over. As a whole in our company, we were number one last year for Value Auto. And in the stores combined, we have over 300 dealerships. We were ranked in top 10. In our zone last month, the Ford region, we were number one in our zone. But I do want to mention that during the months of January, February, and off months, right, sometimes it's slow, right? And there's a lot of salespeople, whether you're selling automotive, whether you're selling, boats, planes, whatever the case is, you're going to have up and down months. To be successful in this business, you have to manage your money, manage your time, and manage your customers. If those three are not all aligned, you're going to sell without money, and it's very hard to sell when you're chasing a check because you can't relax and you're skipping steps and skipping the process.
Right.
So
you're taking away that consultative selling approach.
Yeah.
And just trying to push, and that's not the way it works. The top salespeople are consultative. They don't need to push, right? It's like, here's the best car.
And that's why I think this dealership is so successful, is because we kind of instill that into the salespeople, and we let them know, and we're not just their boss, right? We're a mentor, we're a friend, and we try to show what happened to us, right? When we got in the business, like, hey, you get a good check, don't blow it, save it, because you're gonna have the ups and down months. And the people who usually walk from dealer to dealer, and when they don't have good months, say, oh, it's the dealership's fault, I'll go to this one. They're usually chasing a check. They're not chasing a better store. It's because they did not set themselves up right.
Then hold themselves accountable.
That is such a great point, because even in my space, software, supply chain tech, there's a lot of guys that have down months, or they're, let's say, in the WMS warehouse management space, and then they jump to another company, right? Well, now they got another jump on their resume, and then they're not hitting quota at their new company. So a recruiter like me will come in front of them and dangle the 150K base carrot with telling them there's 300K OTE, but a lot of them don't hit it because they don't look deeper into the company. Who's the leaders there? Who am I getting mentored by? What else could you share with anybody that's young or new or even experienced sales reps that are maybe struggling right now, that are having tough months? What would you say to them?
Look in the mirror, right? If for someone who's struggling, and you know, lately this last 3-4 months, we've turned into therapists versus sales managers, right? Because you're going to have these months where it's tough, and even ourselves, we all have it, right? So I tell them, look in the mirror. What are you doing differently from the months that you were doing great, right? If you can drive out of here every day and know that you made all of your calls, completed all your tasks, took every customer you could, didn't look at the phone when it was ringing and slightly, you know, not answer it right away. If you're doing all that, right, then there's something else that's causing this, right? Take a different route to work, do a different routine at the gym, do something that's going to, you know, better you other than complaining and blaming everybody else.
Right.
What about you, Steve?
So the mentality needs to be never become a victim. If you're a victim in life, nothing ever works out for you. Taking on accountability, growing, and saying, yeah, that sucked that this happened. However, this is the part I played with it. That's a lesson that you learn. It creates a blueprint of what not to do next time, of what to do correct for the future. So if somebody's getting into the business or they're having a hard time, first thing you have to do is reflect on what part of this you played and how to change it. Because networking, strategizing, planning, it's all part of how you grow and get somewhere. You don't just wake up one day and decide to go to Florida and not know how to get there. Yeah. Well, they have GPS now. But if you didn't have GPS, it would be hard, right? You need a plan. You need to figure out how to get there. You need to know, you know, where gas stations are or whatever, but you need to have a plan.
Right. And what's nice with our company, whether you're experienced or whether you're new, we set you up for succession, right? We're always doing training, like Steve said. We're always planning your next step in the business. If you want to go from a sales consultant to a general manager, or you want to go from a service advisor to a fixed ops director, we can show you the path to get there. And that's what's great about this company is they're always thinking about how we can get the next person ready and set up for the next position. It's not where I have to wait 20 years to be able to take over my boss's position, because they don't work that way. We're always looking to grow. They're always buying dealerships and expanding. And I would tell you, if you're unhappy where you're at, Lithia is a great place to be. If you're new and you've never sold a car, don't worry. You're going to have all of the support. A lot of stores don't give that support to the salesperson. They say, listen, if you can't close the deal, unfortunately, you're on your own. Whereas us, we're in the trenches with you, right? We love getting there and training and evolving salespeople, because this is the next generation, right, of coming up as salespeople. And, you know, believe it or not, our checks and our, you know, success relies on them. So if we're not teaching them, how do we expect to get better?
That's similar to what a lot of the, you know, leaders that I work with in my space. It's the same thing, right? Whether they're a player coach, but they're always looking to remove roadblocks to help their team get better. Whether it's through training, one-on-one coaching, whatever it takes. But you guys have an amazing group, and thank you for your time. Anything else you want to add?
If you guys are looking for any position, any help, please get with us. We'll take care of you.
Right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Perfect.